Our next escape from mount is called the rock and roll. It itself can be an escape. A lot of times I use it to create space underneath my opponent's mount to give me room to get the knee to elbow or the step over like we just showed. But the rock and roll is based on the theory that across the back of his legs there's a tibial nerve, there's also the sciatic nerve that we're going to be attacking. And our hips are going to go up and over, landing on the back of his calf. And you'll feel as you do this with your partner, you'll feel when the meaty part of your leg hits his calf, it doesn't really get any effect from him. You'll eventually hit it where your hip bone lands on his calf. It's very, very painful for somebody that's feeling it for the first time. Be careful when you're training it, but you should get quite a reaction from your partner. If it doesn't roll him over in itself, it should give him enough of a jolt to where it's going to create space where you're going to get a different escape. All right? So from this angle, we're here. We want to give our opponent that bump. And when we give this bump, we want to lift our hips up and over here onto his legs. The reason it's called a rock and roll is because we're going to go back and forth. We're going to go here, and then we're going to go here. You will, many times, get your opponent to roll over just from the pain of it. If he won't roll, it will give us room for the knee to elbow escape. So we bumped, we're here, back and forth until we get a knee to elbow escape. All right, one more time. I lift, back and forth, okay? And then another angle. We bump. I want to lift my hips up and land on the back of his calf, going this way. If this doesn't work, I swing up and over on the other leg. All my weight is on my hip right now, going back and forth. This hurts your opponent. It also, see how his knee is up? All my weight is on this tibial nerve. This gets pretty painful, but right now, this gives me plenty of room to start working on the knee to elbow escape. Okay? So as we're rocking back and forth, we're going here. It gives me time to start working on some of my other escapes. Last angle. We're here. I bump. I land right there on the tibial nerve. Again, a lot of times you'll be able to move your opponent all the way over just by doing this. One of the ways, if you're having a hard time jumping up and landing on it, one of the ways you can walk into it is to step under and step on your opponent's ankle. Be really careful doing this. You can put a lot of pressure on his ankle. But you can step right there and then put your weight over. And that'll give you a good step up onto the nerve that you're trying to hit. Okay? So I can do it that way. I step over, or I can just lean my weight. I'm not just swinging my legs over. Notice how my hips are coming all the way up off the ground and landing on his legs. I want to go here, all the way over. And when I go up, watch his knee comes off the ground. From here, I can bump. It gives me room for my knee to elbow escape. Okay? It's called a rock and roll. It might not feel effective at first until you learn how to start hitting that nerve. As your body weight starts landing on the back of his calf, you'll really get a rocking motion out of him. As you get to practicing it, you'll see how you can use your hips as the motion instead of your shoulders with it. Be real careful that when you're first learning how to do it, you don't rely too much on turning your shoulders because he's going to take your back. It's called your rock and roll escape. It sets you up for a lot of other good escapes from the mount.